Hello, and happy World Breastfeeding Week and happy National Breastfeeding Month. We celebrate National Breastfeeding Month here in the United States to recognize that all mothers need support to breastfeed. And we break it down into the first week, which is World Breastfeeding Month, where we recognize that there needs to be systematic and structural changes so that every person who desires to breastfeed or provide human milk for their baby can do so in a non-judgmental and supportive environment, free from the influences of marketing, particularly by infant formula companies, and with the encouragement and knowledge and expertise of healthcare professionals that know how to support breastfeeding. The second week of National Breastfeeding Month, we celebrate the Indigenous mothers' specific needs for breastfeeding support. The third week, we celebrate the Alaskan Native and Asian Pacific Islanders. The fourth week is a special call out for Black and African American mothers. And the fifth week, we celebrate Latino or Hispanic mothers and their breastfeeding journeys. What you need to know is that almost all mothers can be successful in breastfeeding. And now nationally, well over 80% of mothers do start initiating breastfeeding after the delivery of their baby. But in order for breastfeeding to continue, several things have to happen. First is that milk must be removed from the breast in order to continue to make milk. And this can happen when the baby's suckling and removing milk through the baby's suckling action, but can also happen with either using hand expression or using electronic pumps, and double pumps are the most effective. Electronic double pumps are the most effective methods of milk removal. In addition, it's helpful for babies to actually be suckling at the breast because that stimulates the brain to continue to produce the hormone prolactin that continues to make milk. And then finally, it's so helpful to be confident and stress-free so that a hormone called oxytocin, which we call the love hormone, can be released. And stress will compete with the ability for that hormone to be released. So it's important to be in a nurturing, supportive environment so that that hormone can be released, which helps milk actually leave the breast and be ejected from the breast through the milk ducts so that the baby can have access to the milk that's produced. It's important to know that the volume of milk that's made in the first couple of days, while very low in terms of quantity, is very high in terms of the immunologic protection that it provides. We call that colostrum, and it's packed full of bioactive substances that will help protect your baby from getting sick and will help build your baby's immune system. Following 2 to 3 days after birth, what you'll see is an onset of greater milk production. We call that the secretory activation phase of milk production, or the second phase of lactogenesis. And that's when babies begin to actively swallow the milk as they're suckling. And what you'll see is that the baby's pooping or stooling diapers and wet diapers will increase that to the extent that it matches the amount of milk that's produced. The first week after birth is really key to getting breastfeeding off to a good start. One of the most important things is that most babies can do just fine with breastfeeding exclusively, meaning no supplements needed. Every time the baby's supplemented, what will happen is that the breast will get the signal that that's less milk that needs to be produced, And more milk hanging around the breast will cause a decrease in continued milk production. So it's really important that if supplementation is not needed, that it not be given and that babies can continue to exclusively breastfeed, because that's what's going to help continue breastfeeding for as long as both the mother and the baby desire. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends breastfeeding for 2 years or longer as mutually desired because of all the benefits to both the mother and the baby. And we should be aware of the great number of positive health outcomes that can occur with breastfeeding, particularly continued breastfeeding beyond the first year throughout the first couple of years of life. So with that, again, I want to say happy National Breastfeeding Month and hope that you have a wonderful celebration in whatever way you choose to celebrate breastfeeding.